Hi folks, it's me again, and tying another one for your box or your use. This is an old fly, and when it was first brought out and started fishing, it caught so many brown trout in Scotland that some of the local angling clubs, because in Scotland most of the waters were run by angling clubs, only the big salmon waters were run by the lords and ladies. Anyway, the local angling clubs decided to ban the fly from being used in the water, for it was catching so many fish. And at that time, when you caught fish, you killed them. If everyone was over 8 inches, you killed it for the pot, because everybody took it home and gave them out to their neighbours, etc. Anyway, and it's called the Bloody Butcher, and you can understand why they cried at the Bloody Butcher, because it was catching so many fish. Anyway, in the vice I've got a Kamasa B100 grubber hook, and I've run a bit of black thread down to the tail. Now the first thing we're going to do in the tail, is the first bit of the pattern, is a red tail. So I've got a bit of red rayon that I use for my tails for this fly, and just tie it in and tidy it back up. Take it down just to past the bend of the hook. The tail needs to be about a third of the length of I would say 3/4 of the length of the body, and that's the tail. The next thing we need to tie in is a bit of tinsel. I'm using this stuff, Mirage, medium silver tinsel. It's quite good stuff. In fact, I need to order some more. This one's getting a wee bit empty. I'll just tie it in at the tail. Now these flies are tied with a black crow wing, but I use some variants. I'll use pheasant tail, cock pheasant tail wings that have been dyed either black or iridescent blue. I like them because they do quite well. So tie in the silver, and I have a throat hackle, either red or black throat hackle, but this one I'm going to tie is going to be having a red throat hackle. So we'll get to that shortly. So just tie up your tinsel. Nice turns up the body. You don't want a massive fat body, just a nice wee slim body. So you folding that, nice wee twist in that hook, that gives it a wee bit kind of shape when it's moving about in the water. I always try and envisage if I'm going to tie a new fly. Oh, it's rippled out, so I'll just need to do it again. When I'm tying a new fly, I always try and envisage it, what it'll look like to the trout when it's in the water. And this one's no different. There's a certain way that flies act in the water that attract trout. There's got to be. The arguments about colour, etc. are well known. They can see colour, they can't see colour. I don't bother about arguments. I just try and tie flies that catch fish when I go fishing, because it's very rewarding tying your own fly and fishing it your own way and catching. And I hope when some of you are looking at these videos, they're no hard to tie flies. You've just got to learn. I learnt myself. I'm not great, but it saves me a lot of money too, because it takes a while to build up your stuff. But anyway, that's the body one. But before we do any further, we need to protect that body, because if the trout got their teeth into that, it'll just snap. So we need to put a wee bit of epoxy resin on it. And that's most important, because if you don't, you'll be catching away with this fly, and then you'll get it one time, you'll go to take out the trout's mouth, and all the silver body will have unwound or been bitten off and fell off. So a bit of epoxy resin there. You get your torch and just harden it off before we go to the rest of it. the famous torch that works and sometimes doesn't work. So a nice wee flash on there. That tail looks alright there, I'm quite happy with that. Right, now this instance I'm going to tie one with a blue iridescent wing, and it's a cock pheasant centre tail that I dyed blue, a turquoise blue, and I like it. I've tied one or two butchers with this and they've been successful, so I'm just going to get a good piece for the wing. You don't want it too long. Some of these things are just a bit too long for me, so I'll go down the shank a bit. I'll go down the feather a bit and see if I can get one that suits me better. That's a bit better, I like that. Tie it in, it should be about the length of the hook. You cut it, tie it in, and tie it up at the head. Yeah, I like that one, yeah. Now, turn it over because you're going to put a wee bit of red throat hackle in from, I've got a cock cape dyed red, just for throat hackles for flies. So it gives you my own stuff without buying it or etc. You just buy a cock hackle dye to it, if it suits. Just get the size of throat hackle you fancy and tie it off. And turn it over. Yep. You cut it off. The throat hackle slipped, so I need to take it off and put it back on. That was a nuisance. Anyway, that's no big deal. Got another throat hackle. Turn it on a bit. Get it, tie it on. Yeah, that will hold that one. Right, to see what the hackle's like. That's lovely. That'll do fine. That's just exactly what I want it. Right, turn it back around and build up the head a wee bit. And then trim off a wee bit of red hackle showing through there. That'll do it. It don't matter much about wee individual things like that. As I said, I don't sell my flies, I just use them myself. To catch fish, so that's all I'm really bothered about. Right, the last thing I want to do is put a wee bit of epoxy resin on the head. And it gives it a nice wee shiny head finish, which I think helps the fly to stand out when it's darting through the water. And that's it, folks. That's the bloody butcher, the famous fly that was barred from many club waters because it caught so many trout, and it's still catching yet. Thanks for watching.